Is this really bothering you? Does this really bother you? Does it? Like, does this scare you? Huh? Does it scare you? It's crazy, like, it don't do nothing, it's just there. It be getting a little ashy sometimes.
Police pulled over Wright. The police chief says they stopped Daunte Wright because he had an expired registration on his license plate.
Does this look like someone who's under arrest for a traffic violation?
I'm just confused. Is it a warrant for the arrest or is it for the expired registration? You normally don't get arrested for that. And what I did find out from looking this up is that apparently whatever he was supposed to have known about never was sent to his home. So a clerical error created a fatal incident. Because wouldn't you be confused if you were told you had a warrant for something that you weren't made aware of? I would be. I wouldn't take too kindly to be put in handcuffs.
All these laws are to protect the system.
To the stop and shows police walking up to the car, and then Wright is seen stepping out of his vehicle. Police then tried to take Wright into custody.
My thing in this clip right here with the first officer, why are you struggling with the handcuffs and placing it on this young man?
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying.
How are you even on the fourth? This looks like you guys were already up to no good. It looks like it's more than one person involved, because this is like, it's hard to watch.
So keep in mind, Daunte Wright was fatally shot 2 days ago, I believe, 3 days ago at this point. Young gentleman, I believe 21 years old, father of a boy, and the cop is claiming that it was an accident, that she confused her taser with a loaded weapon.
And this is in the same state where
It's
George
10 miles.
Floyd...
The George Floyd case is taking place currently.
Yeah, and what's even worse, George Floyd's girlfriend taught this kid.
Was his teacher.
A few years ago.
So even just that connection just feels, honestly, it's
too close to home.
It's eerie. It's very eerie that this is occurring 10 miles from where someone is being prosecuted for a heinous crime, and that these two were connected in some way.
How does this not make your blood boil?
It's like so frustrating to the point where you're just like, you don't even know what to say. Like, don't even take us as looking as indifferent. Everybody is tired of seeing unarmed black people, unarmed people being murdered. Because this is what that is. This is murder. This is not manslaughter. This is murder. And regardless of if there was intent or not, it almost feels like there was intent because they are so incapable of even getting it together from the body cam footage.
They're so adamant on like proving a point that they're not the issue. It's these constant run-in with these black criminal, as they would say.
And also I feel like I'm not even a cop, but I wouldn't want, if I had to arrest somebody, I wouldn't have them this close to their vehicle with the door open. Because I'm not gonna say, like, we'll get to that, I'm not gonna say that, you should be trying to dodge the cops if they put the handcuffs on you and all this and that. But just as an officer, just trying to take preventative measures, I would think that you would wanna pull the suspect as far away from the vehicle as possible. And if you had to handcuff them right by the vehicle because of a lane or something, I would have closed the door.
Covering he has an outstanding warrant. The video shows Wright begins to resist.
Guys, I get it. It doesn't look great on Wright's behalf.
But again, keep in mind...
Few years, the timeline in the last few years would let you know alone why someone like Wright would react in such a way. It was getting a little creepy. You had 3 cops hovering around you, one guy struggling to put cuffs on you, and he's supposed to be professional.
But it's also, you don't know about the warrant.
But still, you're...
that in itself would make you, like, what?
And I'm not even sure in this video that they even mentioned that he had a warrant yet, so we can't even confirm that. So I'm led to just assume that he was scared for his life.
I believe he was told that he had a warrant. Apparently that's how they found out that he never received it, because they told him that he had a warrant, and apparently he was on the phone with his mother.
That is true. She was on the phone.
Yeah. So apparently that was it. At least somebody was on the phone with him in his final minutes. That's really all I could say.
Are placed on him, and he gets back into the vehicle.
Your first response after that interaction was, I just shot him.
Oh shit, I just shot him.
Your memory is clearly better than mine, but you got the memo.
I can't.
No, I'm perturbed by this.
You are an officer of the law.
I couldn't, if we were to just go by your reaction alone, you didn't sell it well.
Not one bit. This black officer looks confused. He's still holding the damn handcuffs. Literally, look at him. Look how ridiculous he looks. Still holding the handcuffs. Yeah, I'm talking to you, black man. You didn't know how to use the handcuffs. You're still holding the handcuffs because you couldn't get him in the handcuffs properly because that protocol wasn't followed, clearly.
A lot of people get blamed from
A lot of people, but let's go step by step.
Yes.
Him, whoever sent him out for the day. I want to talk to the person who sent you out for the day and knew that you weren't prepared.
Does it start with the system?
Yeah, it starts with the system. That's faulty. And then you just see the trickle down and it's just really a perfect storm for a disaster.
Now, the source has many faces that we can't even really blame. She's now protected by a system that clearly failed us once again.
And the clerical mistake wouldn't even be that big of an issue if there was proper training and these officers went out into the field actually prepared for what they were encountering. I've heard that the Officer Potter, the woman who shot this man, has been on the force for a couple years now.
About 20 plus years.
Taser, 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 taser.
That muscle
for all
memory.
that screaming, I mean, first of all, you shouldn't even have to scream taser to I mean, I don't know if that's a part of it, of like letting them know you're going to tase them. Okay, fine. Grab the right thing. And really, why are you tasing them? There has to be a way to de-escalate. There also has to be, some sort of criteria of necessity of force. You know what I mean? Like, if this is a warrant for a vehicle that doesn't have or has an expired registration, what's the worst thing that could happen if he drives away? You guys go to the address that you have on file, the address that the place was supposed to mail the documents to. Just go there and find him.
Plus, you guys are in close range and you put other people at risk. Prior to that, you see two other officers there and they didn't reach for their taser, so why would you go for yours? And I don't hear in the video for anybody yelling for taser but you. So again, why are you on the force? 20 plus years? And you couldn't just lay an extra hand to assist your fellow officer, quickly assess this situation? So we could have avoided this? Taser, taser, taser.
There has to be a level of importance, okay? If this person was a convicted murderer, you would understand, okay, I'm already going into this situation with that. It's the same thing we talked about the other body cam footage with the lieutenant. It's the same concept. There's nothing to make you believe that this person is going to exhibit violence. And I know that officers have to prepare for that, and I get that, and that's probably like a mental hurdle that they have to jump. But if someone doesn't have registration or they have a warrant, it's paperwork. You killed a child. You killed somebody's child. You killed somebody's father. You killed somebody's nephew. You murdered someone over paperwork.
I think everyone that plays a part should be crucified. The black officer who was on the scene who struggled with placing handcuffs on Mr. Wright, he needs to be somehow punished for poor performance in the field. And then the other officer, you two grown men at that, fully developed men at that, in a tussle with a 20-year-old man who looks pretty frail to me. He looked pretty frail in that video. You two struggled with taking him down. Why are you guys on the force?
Even so, like, say he was the worst person or a criminal. You are also putting yourself at risk when you're engaging with somebody and like that. You're tussling with someone in a vehicle that is not yours. So let's take this innocent person out of the situation and say it was a violent criminal. What do you look like tussling with this person in close proximity? His worst offense is the situation with his registration. This is this child's worst offense. Paperwork.
We can't allow the system to continue to fail us. We fail ourselves when we continue to accept this type of trauma.
And you literally watch us, like, look at us. We're desensitized. Like I said before, we are coming at this with total respect. We're sending condolences to the family of Daunte Wright. And anyone involved, anybody that's affected. And honestly, anybody that is triggered from constantly seeing crap like this. It's to the point where you're just like, yo, like, that's why you're even asking, okay, was this on purpose? Was she the scapegoat? Or because it's like, it's getting to a point where it's like, you already know how many people have to die? Like, you see what the warrant is for. It's like, okay, so let's hear what's coming now. Like, I was just thinking, okay, he has a warrant for, and even if it wasn't paperwork, if it was something else, I was already expecting to throw a negative light on it. But paperwork, my guy.
A life is lost. Family is affected because of paperwork.
Commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet.
Look at that face. You really think he believes that lie? You believe after assessing that situation, after taking the time and conducting your own research from paperwork, sir, that you concluded that she was justified, that she accidentally killed this man? That's what he's saying.
I think he views it as an accident.
After George Floyd, doesn't he not want to maybe think this through a little harder? Maybe dig a little deeper on what actually happened?
But this is where I think people, okay, so like sometimes we also make certain associations with words and certain terms. So I think when he's saying accident, I think he means in the sense of...
He's trying to say she meant well.
I don't even want to say meant
And
well.
she did
I think
not.
at the end of the day, like, for instance, if you're I honestly, there's no analogy where I feel like it'd even be appropriate because I feel like it would just be disrespectful to the situation. I do understand what the chief is saying, the idea of what he's saying. Regardless, he needs to realize how it's going to come across and how it's going to be interpreted.
This man was not making a clear call. He was not making a clear judgment call. From his face, you can tell, and from the history, he's been on the force for 20 plus years as well, too, with this very woman. So I'm pretty sure there's a strong connection, and he didn't go at this research with a professional
lens.
He put the cap on that. He was seeing a friend in distress through this lens, and with that, and with his power, felt the need to call it how he called it in this video.
It doesn't matter what he said, it wasn't going to come off right. And I think that just is across the board. People don't want to hear certain things when certain things happen. So whatever this man was going to say, it wasn't going to be received well. Let's just put that to the side. Because I just feel like regardless, it's like, what do you say? What do you say? Let's say a coworker or say an employee or whatever, somebody under you, you're also internalizing what you could have done differently. As we were talking about earlier, of who sent these people out in the day. This is probably the person that sent them out in the day.
Well, I want to say stop shooting us.
Stop shooting people.
Is this really not enough? Is this really bothering you? Does this really bother you? Does it? Like, does this scare you? Huh? Does it scare you? It's crazy. Like, it don't do nothing. It's just there. It be getting a little ashy
But
sometimes.
no, you want...
But it don't do much. It's skinned. It hurts. If I cut it, it bleeds.
Right, that should be enough to just prove that we're all human and we all are just trying to exist in this world. When the people that are out here that are supposed to be protecting us and supposed to be serving our communities take it upon themselves to be ill-prepared for the day, or personal biases maybe take over, or whatever went on that morning for this woman, it's insane that you would not know the difference after 20 plus years, or even a year plus of being on the police force, know the difference between the weight of a taser and the weight of a loaded pistol. That's just questionable, I will say. Also, to the mayor, who is wearing this ball cap.
Brooklyn something.
Well, it's Brooklyn Center, but yeah, whichever. This black mayor that's wearing this ball cap to the press conference, I just don't understand.
Pandering.
You are probably the worst person of this whole entire day because you thought it was just appropriate to come in here all nonchalant as if there isn't a life-changing case happening across town or a couple towns over. You're supposed to be the representation in this space. So very confused as to why you thought this like really laid-back attitude was appropriate.
Whose Uncle Tom is this, man? Like, y'all can keep him.
Keep him. Keep him.
If I see you at the barbecue, we're gonna turn you away.
Black people, get him out of office. Like, get your mans out of office.
It's not enough black people in Minnesota. The whole population of black people is on the Minnesota Vikings and Timberwolves.
Can't say that.
It's a small number over there.
There's a lot of black people in Minnesota.
Like I said, not enough to get this man out of his position. Either way, pandering Sammy over here, y'all have fun with him because he is all about the big bucks and his image. What I mean by image, his image for a certain demographic, and that is not for the people.
To the protesters, keep it safe. To the looters, stop, because that's obnoxious. You're not helping any cause, and this is not a time to now go try and bag free shit. Stop. For real.
And you crisis actors, stop.
Just let the authentic people there be there. Let the family grieve peacefully. Everybody keep it as peaceful as possible while also standing up for what's right. You only make it worse.
All right, thanks for rocking with us again, guys. Chris, Rose, and until next time, Slit, Talk.
Reviews.
She said it.
Like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us grow.
We all grow together, right?